Alright, it's running now. Hopefully you can hear me over the engine. You can see the battery's fairly new. This cap and gasket for the master cylinder are new. The master cylinder itself obviously not so new. I don't know if you can see in there, but the alternator is also fairly new. This part is new. It's the accumulator, I believe, for the AC, and we had the AC system checked out, and it does work when the control panel works, but the control panel is not working right now, and I'll show you that when we go inside. You can hear the engine running. There is a little bit of a squeak to it right now, but that's usually not something we hear. I think we've had a little rain and it just got wet. Show you the inside. As you can see, the chairs are not bolted in. If you're going to be driving this, it shouldn't be a problem. As you can kind of just leave them flipped over like this. But we do have the bolts for it. You just need to be able to get underneath and have one person underneath and one person up top to do it. This radio does not work. These cords down here were all from the entertainment center that used to be here. It was a CRT TV and a VCR. Those are gone. But I left the cords hooked up in case you needed to, in case anybody needed to use them if we ever sold it, and looks like we are selling it now. There's switches up here that go with some of that stuff. See if you can see that. I haven't used many of them, and I don't know if any of them work or what they work for. The rear speakers and the front speakers are all fairly new. I put those in, but these speakers up top I did not put in, or I did not replace, so they are, as far as I know, factory. This piece of the dashboard here that covers this speaker is busted, so we have that taped, but you can see in there the speaker is pretty new. This radio here is new, but because of that dripping leak, this face piece doesn't ever flip down anymore. But that's the only real problem it's caused us, other than just being annoying. Just so you're aware, some of these screws and nuts and bolts in these two little pieces here go to the dashboard. They're just pieces that hold it on at the top up here, but they're not really necessary, and so I haven't put them back on. There is some damaged carpet and bad carpet here at the driver's side. That's where the worst of the bad carpet is. The back seat does fold down. I don't have it down right now, but it works fine. These seat belts, there's bolts for them that go into the chairs when the chairs are bolted in, and we have those bolts as well. With that radio that I showed you, I had a backup camera installed here. The camera itself does not work, but as far as I know, the wires do work, so if you get a new camera, you'd be able to hook it up and use it with that radio. The tires are all about a year old. This was a hookup for a car phone that's no longer installed. But I don't know how to remove that antenna, so I didn't bother trying. Owner's manual is in here. In Virginia, we have to get a state inspection. It was just inspected, if you can see that, in February of 20. I mean, it was this year, so it won't be due again until February of 20. Sorry. This is the piece that is broken. This part works, but this piece does nothing anymore. It's not hooked up, and it controls not only the little valve or the vent that goes between heat and air conditioning, but it also controls the vacuum tubes on the actual unit itself that direct the flow of AC and heat. This window on the passenger side just has a little gunk on it, and that'll clean off. But it is a little tricky. The actuator and the motor are new in there, but I didn't quite get them even, so sometimes you have to push the window all the way up. But if you know how to work on that, you could probably fix it pretty easily. I think that's about everything. If you were gonna get this, I would also include this console, because I don't need it anymore. Let me rev the engine while I'm in here, just show you that. There's those switches again. We also just had an oil change, and it won't be due again until 3,000 miles or May. Windshield wipers work. Other thing, let's see, we had a small leak at the oil filter gasket, and we had that fixed and replaced. So there's no more oil leak from there, and it was just a small little gasket leak anyway. Other than that, had no problems with the engine or the transmission, and the only electrical problem was the alternator, and that's been replaced, and the battery's been replaced since we've owned it, at least. Just so you get a good look on the outside, this pinstriping is messed up on this side and missing over here, but everywhere else it is there, but it is obviously not great condition. One quick thing, some of the windows have blinds, and the ones that have them do work, but they fall down pretty easily. And the windows that don't have them, those blinds are just gone. There's just a space for them, but there's no blinds, and I don't have them. Hope that helps.